Do you want early access? Do you want uncut reactions? If so, then check out our Patreon. Link in the description down below. My Hero Academia, Season 3, Episode 22. A talk about your quirk. So, in the last episode, it seemed Todoroki might not pass. And also it seemed that Windy Dude also might not pass either, because conflicting with each other. If they do pass, they'll pass by the skin of their nose. Midoriya coming in for the save near the end, and then the rest of the two schools pretty much doing most of the grunt work and the leg work and saving the people and fending off Gang Orca's members.
So I wonder if there might be a twist with how the point system works.
That's what I'm wondering too, because if this shows, on anything, I mean, hell, you got to think back when Midoriya first got into the hero exam in order to get into UA, there was a twist there that they did not explain, and it was hero points, actions of those of a hero, and that's in turn what got him into UA. And they may do the same thing here.
I think it might be a thing in terms of just exceptions to the 100-point rule they were doing, because they might say, while we dropped too many points for you to be able to pass Todoroki and other dude, we recognize that your abilities are going to be indispensable in the coming fight against villains, because the ability to attack like hundreds of villains simultaneously, as well as ridiculous crowd control and power of Todoroki's abilities, alongside the fact that both of you did work things out in the end and cooperate together, shows us that you are ready to be heroes, or something like that.
Yeah. There's a number of ways it can go, and honestly, I'm curious. I'm curious to see how the results are going to play out. Anyway, we got this here, and let's get up on screen. And let's have us a watch. Here we go.
The names of those who passed are listed here in alphabetical order. Keep my words in mind as you search the screen for your name.
Me.
Where is it?
Woo! You did it! Good job!
I'm up there! Call me a hero! I did it.
There I am. All right.
I'm on the board!
Oh, thank goodness. What a relief. Magnifique! I did it!
Yeah! I passed!
Killed it! Right on! Oh, you're she? No, it's not there.
Oh.
I failed. It's over.
And Todoroki's not on there either.
You failed? Todoroki!
Oh!
I'm sorry! It's my fault that you didn't pass the licensing exam! My focus was too narrow-minded! You're fine. I was the one who got us off to a bad start. But still! And thanks to the things you said to me, I have a lot to think about.
Should have been more careful what you said. Words are important, you know.
Shut your mouth before I murder you!
Their own egos are their worst enemies. Looks like our class hierarchy is collapsing.
I can't believe this.
They include a breakdown of your scores, so you'll know exactly what areas you need to improve going forward.
That's good, at least.
We lopped off points when you did something wrong. Fall below 50 and you were done. These demerits are itemized on your result forms, as you'll see, so I'd look at them.
Wait, Yaomomo, you got 94 points?
Good job, Yaoyorozu.
How'd it go? I ended with 80. Overall, it seems my weak points were in practical application.
I got 71 points. It looks like they mostly docked me for some of the stupid things I said at the beginning and for times when I was just kind of standing around. Since this was a demerit system that didn't give anyone the chance to add points, there was no hope of passing after someone fell below 50. So why let those people continue to fight until the end?
Anyway, moving
Asking
forward,
the real
those
questions.
of you who pass can exercise the same authority as pro-heroes, but only during emergency situations. Expect the balance we currently have in our world to be destroyed and for things to change quickly. You young people will be the hope for our future. I would like for you to think of yourselves as fledglings and be even more diligent in your studies. And as for those who fell short and did not pass, we don't have time for you to feel bitter about your loss. After you attend a 3-month-long special course and pass an individual test, we plan to issue a provisional license to those of you who failed as well. We're going to need as many good heroes on the streets as we can get. The first round was one to weed people out, but we would like to grow the 100 selected in that test as much as possible. You're welcome to retake the exam in April if you prefer to wait.
Oh, like hell! Special course!
Isn't this great?
Of course.
You don't have to. Just take it easy. Relax. The hierarchy is collapsing.
Shh.
Are you crying?
Oh.
Yeah, well, you know, this is a lot. It's like this is proof I've matured and gotten stronger, and it makes me so happy. I need to show this to my mom and All Might as soon as possible.
Yeah, I get it.
Since we've reconnected, how about we get together for joint training sometime?
Yeah, that could be smart.
Todoroki, I'll see you at the special course, but here's the thing. Honestly, nothing's changed. I still don't like you. Sorry. I
want to know more about the training you do to erase your presence.
We haven't learned anything like that.
But that girl...
Actually, she's been acting kind of strangely for the past few days. A little different from her usual self, I'd say.
Oh no.
Where are you right now? Toga?
I had the most wonderful fun.
What?
Don't get so lost in your role that you slip up.
And my mission was a success. Tomura's gonna be so happy. I managed to get some of Izuku's yummy blood.
By ingesting someone's blood, she can transform into that person.
Oh God.
I didn't realize we didn't actually know her quirk before now. She's been
That's
running around
true.
trying to stab people with needles.
I'm here so we can get a few things straight. All for one.
My brain waves are constantly being monitored, along with my vital signs.
As they should be.
About activating my quirk, and I'll likely be put down like a rabid dog.
You're trapped here. You'll never go free.
I'll let you believe that.
Tell me where Tomura Shigaraki is hiding right now.
Haven't the slightest.
What were you trying to achieve?
Even if I told you the truth, you wouldn't be satisfied. There are some people who never understand each other. After you appeared, my infinite potential suddenly became finite. The world was probably pretty shaken up by your retirement. So let's hear it. How are things actually looking on the outside?
Please refrain from giving him any information.
You heard the man.
Right about now, the media's concern about your absence is mixing with their worry about Endeavor as the new de facto leader. It's making them question the unity of Hero Society. I think Tomura and his group will continue to hide for the time being, in order to ensure it's their organization that rises to the top. If the scenario I composed plays out as I intended it to, then I know everything that's going on outside these walls. And now you won't be able to save anyone. You've been relegated to the sidelines, doomed to watch society fall apart as villains flourish because of your own arrogance.
All Might, don't approach the glass.
That's all I needed. I can see it written on your face. You're nothing now. You're finished. And you really want to punch me, huh?
You think you know everything, but as always, you underestimate people. I won't be dying anytime soon, especially not by Shigaraki's hand. I will not be killed so easily, and I refuse to let the future you imagine come to pass.
Time's up, sir. Please exit.
I'll smash your plans and thwart your plots. I am relentless. You're the one who will watch helpless from a cell for the rest of your days. Young Midoriya.
That's just a proud dad right there.
Yep.
You, meet me up front later. We need to have a talk about your quirk.
I just go to bed. I just leave him out there.
Yeah. Oh, big sleeper.
Gotchon brought us to Ground Beta?
This is the place where we had our first combat training, where I fought you and
Wait.
lost. You've always made me sick. You know that, right, Deku?
Is he really going to challenge him to
Are they really going to have a fight?
A playground brawl?
You're going to tell me how you managed to get into this damn school with a brand new quirk that appeared out of nowhere. It pissed me off that I'd been beaten by such a pathetic weakling. But after seeing what happened to All Might at Camino Ward, I began to understand. You got your quirk from All Might, didn't you? He gave you his power. I remember what he said after he beat the big bad. We all heard it.
Now, it's your turn.
You were the only one who really understood what he meant. There's more evidence too, like how those Nomu monsters had multiple quirks, even though it seemed impossible. All Might and that boss villain knew each other before that fight. And somehow it's all connected to what you said about getting your quirk from someone else. You're not trying to deny anything, which means I must be right. So say it.
What if it's true?
Then somehow a little nobody like you was singled out by the person I admired most, and I didn't even realize it. That's why we're here. You and I are settling this. Right here. Right now.
I knew it. The gigantic tease until the next episode. Son of a... There's going to be a scrap in the next episode.
I guess.
Oh, God. Unless, like, I don't know. Maybe Aizawa followed them out there and he's going to stop them.
I mean, but it's like, what is wrong with that guy?
I don't know. I mean, he just... For him, I think it's a matter of pride, much how it was with Vegeta. You see, although Vegeta's pride was mixed with his aspirations to overthrow Frieza with nothing but pure violence.
Well, I mean...
This, though, I get the feeling that Bakugo is both upset with Deku and jealous at him at the same time, because All Might was both of theirs inspiration to become heroes, but Bakugo's power is naturally really good.
Yeah.
And Deku's where he's borrowed it from All Might is, I think, what's got Bakugo twisted up about it. He doesn't know how to feel.
Yeah, I mean, but Vegeta, he witnessed the, I mean, not them praising the writing for Dragon Ball Z, because I love Dragon Ball Z, but the writing is rough.
It is.
I mean, Vegeta witnessed the genocide of his entire people and planet, and then was basically forced to be like a bounty hunter for the freaky little whatever dude.
The freaky alien genotype?
Yeah. That, killed everybody that he knew, and then his whole life he was a prince of this race, so he was, he was their prince, and then by all accounts he was something of a prodigy, so it's like he was raised to just expect that he was,
And that's in turn what the same way Bakugo has been. I mean, all his life, people have been doing nothing but praising his quirks.
Yeah,
and
minus the genocide of watching everybody.
Well, minus the genocide, of course.
I mean,
but but by the same token, they're more of a parallel to that than Bakugo is to Goku.
Yeah, no, I kind of see it, but I just, I understand Vegeta being angry because of all the death and destruction that he witnessed and had to,
Well,
and
but
then
Bakugo,
grow up serving an even bigger monster than...
I just thought of something, too.
What's up?
So we have heroes and villains clearly in this show.
Yes.
We have a slightly blurred line due to a certain character that was definitely tipping way more towards the anti part than the hero part. With very little hero there. The very little hero was a couple of good points that he had, but obviously he was a villain still.
Stain, yeah.
But we don't have true anti-heroes.
No.
And that's one of the things that I think that they're hinting that the world is setting up to change towards, is there being anti-heroes. People who have quirks that want to do heroic things, but they don't want to abide by the system that's set in place by the government and everyone who tells them how they have to do things. Bakugo may not actually become a villain, and I think they've done things to subvert the idea that he's going to become a villain, but he's also still doing things that don't add up to being a hero as well.
Well, yeah, he failed the provisional hero exam, and it was because of his attitude. And
so I'm honestly wondering if they're setting him up to become an anti-hero.
I don't know. I mean, they could go that route. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, because the way the world is changing in the wake of All Might's the loss of his power, and now the villains are doing new things and making moves behind the scenes, and also the heroes, the next generation of heroes is really starting to come into their own, not only from UA but also from the other school.
Yeah. So that kind of made me remind me of it because of Vegeta, because I feel like he kind of had a transition from villain to anti-hero to eventually more of a hero.
Yes.
Bakugo and Mineta are going to pioneer the distasteful hero genre of crime fighting in this.
Yeah.
I'd say Vegeta. Go ahead.
But how cool would it be for some of that class to actually be like anti-heroes at that point? Just the people who agree with Bakugo that want to follow him with his ideals and everything.
Well,
and he like starts a secular part of society that's like, we're against villains, but we're not going to follow your rules.
Kind of like less murdery Magneto.
Basically.
Yes. I would say Bakugo, he would probably be the spearhead of it, whereas, the other ones that would follow in his wake would probably be the redheaded guy.
Yeah.
Kaminari?
Yeah, Kaminari.
Kaminari's electric.
Oh, Kaminari.
You're talking about Kirishima.
Kirishima,
Kirishima,
okay.
yeah,
so Kirishima would probably be the first one to follow Bakugo because he always does. And then Kirishima would probably do the same as well because it seems that those three have formed their own trio. Because, you have electricity, you have hardening, and you have explosions. You have three very volatile, very masculine styles of doing things because they both all three of them approach it very straightforward. And although two of them are more adept at handling the public, Bakugo is inept at handling the public. Instead, he wants to go in, destroy the villain, and then get praised for it and then walk away, pretty much. That's what he's looking for. And I'm thinking that if they do form an anti-hero thing, there will be like those who lean more towards hero and those who are more in the middle, and then there are those who toe the line and lean more towards villain, because that's more of a gray area. It's sort of like the Gray Jedi, which I really hope is a concept that they explore more in the future in Star Wars, especially with the new trilogy that's coming out that may be directed by Taika Waititi. I'm hoping.
Still canon or not.
Whatever Disney decides is canon, because Disney originally said when they said everything outside of the Skywalker trilogy is not canon. And now they've said, oh, no, wait. Now the Old Republic is canon, and we're wanting to do a trilogy set in the Old Republic. And I'm like, okay, there you go. That's good. I like that idea. And now they're saying, how about one set after, like a couple hundred years after the Skywalker trilogy, and it's this new breed of Jedi coming out that are very similar to the Gray Jedi. And if they get Taika Waititi to handle that, I think that'd be awesome. And they're talking about Rian Johnson being the one coming back to do the trilogy set in the Old Republic, which, if you give him full control from the very beginning, maybe it could be something good, but I don't know. That's all remains to be seen.
I'm also really worried at this point because she got a hold of his blood and she can transform into people.
That's right.
Blood. The implications of that are very, very bad. Because all she has to do is transform, go out in the street as him, and slit someone's throat, and he gets taken to Tartarus, pretty much.
Yes. That could be... It could wind up very bad. Also, they could wind up studying his blood and trying to find a way to take his power away from him.
Well, see, I think we put that to rest because Stain ingested his blood.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
and he had to eat one of All Might's hairs, so there's some kind of voluntary component to that, because we had that discussion before.
Yes.
So I don't think you can steal one for all.
They're planning to do something to fuck over Midoriya.
Well, yeah.
It's clear.
Absolutely.
So it could end up being really bad, and he could actually be taken out for like a amount of time, like due to something that they do with it. If they do,
and it'll be the rest of the class trying to get him free.
I'll be honest, like other than like the bombshell that Tomura Shigaraki is like the grandson of Nana Shimura, I mean, he's not a very good villain to me. Like, his power's cool, but it's like based on touch, so like he'd be useless against like Bakugo or Todoroki. And he's so emotionally unstable, he just doesn't seem like he's probably intelligent, but he doesn't seem like he can utilize it because he's so, reckless.
Well, that's one thing I'm wondering about One For All. Can he pass the One For All ability to damn it, I forget it, the handyman.
Shigaraki,
yes. Could he in fact pass that on to Shigaraki?
Oh yeah. Well, All For One could give people abilities like a Nomu, probably, surely.
Well, and of course, but can he pass the ability to take powers away, effectively passing All For One onto the next generation, much as how All Might passed One For All onto Midoriya?
I feel like he likes himself too much. I think he thinks eventually he's going to get out and be able to rebuild himself somehow.
Probably.
I'm actually still waiting to see how he acts after All For One was imprisoned, because just like that whole moment with All Might was kind of a growth moment for Midoriya as a hero. It was kind of a growth moment for him as a villain as well.
Yeah.
So he may be a little more villainous and
maybe a bit more balanced.
I feel I don't know. I feel like I just feel like Kurogiri's doing all the work. I mean, like he was there front and center, like handling him while All For One was in the background.
It's kind of like his butler in my opinion, like his Alfred.
Yeah.
Like if he was a hero.
I think Kurogiri is, he's in pure service to All For One.
Yeah, but I think he actually is smart and has, his Shigaraki's best interests in mind. I don't think Shigaraki really knows what he wants or can really attain it.
Yeah, and I think it's that growth that he has to go through in order for him to be a more adept villain.
Yeah.
Because right now he's pretty inept with his planning.
Because, I mean,
and he always gets his ass kicked.
I could see if he was like hyper intelligent and charismatic to where he could subvert society, but I don't think that he's going to get up there, with his like, super creepy, like dry skin and the hands all over him and like convince anybody. I mean,
this is so annoying. So annoying.
He's not going to convince anybody outside of the type of people he already has.
Yeah, because I mean, Stain was able to convince people not because he was charismatic. I mean, well, he was charismatic in a way, but like he was really adept at killing, and he was just going to eliminate the people that didn't fit his vision. And I mean, there's no way.
About inspiring people, like he just ended up doing.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, because it was just like sheer willpower. Like he like just sort of John Wicked his way into people's hearts.
And you see that's sort of a similar thing. Like how Stain acts in this one is how Joaquin Phoenix's Arthur Fleck acts in the Joker.
Right.
And you see that similarity there. Arthur Fleck's inspiration is what caused the madness in the end of the Joker film, whereas this right here, we're living in the all the characters in this are in a post Stain spree, which Stain's spree was initially seen as it's just a hero killer, he's out there killing heroes, but then when he lists his reasoning, and people don't find themselves 100% disagreeing with it, it starts to cast and shades of doubt in people's minds, and next thing you know, they start to question everything, and then they leap to illogical conclusions, and then pretty much saying, are heroes really necessary in our world? And it's like,
everyone is guilty of, like, whenever they hear really good points, they don't go seek out points from the other side on it and just be like, that's a really good point. Like, so it just kind of like cements into the way they think about things, rather than them being like, well, what's some points against this?
It's very single-minded.
Weighing them together,
Well, yeah, it's very single-minded.
Well, it's just easier to listen to the first thing that you hear whenever it sounds good.
Well, yeah, it's first impressions. First impressions make the biggest impact. That's just like me. Like, a lot of the stuff that's being said nowadays made a really big impact on me. And it's just like, okay. But me, I'm always a person who seeks out multiple sides on things, because because this is the truth, guys, all throughout history. The truth is never what one side said, is never 100% what one side says or what the other side says. It's always an amalgamation of what is in the middle of both sides, because, hell, for the longest time, we were thought to believe, we landed on Plymouth Rock, and that's where civilization in America began. It's like, has everyone just forgotten about Jamestown? I mean, because Jamestown existed before Plymouth Rock, and they didn't abandon it.
I mean, as far as Europeans landed over here, the Vikings would like to have.
The Vikings landed over here first, but eventually they all died out or went home.
That we know of.
Yes. Now, and the same thing with the Spanish and the Portuguese when they landed in South America. Same deal. But overall, with everything how stories and history go, you can never say 100% on one side. That's just like, it was like 25 plus years ago, it was uniformly agreed by the public, Christopher Columbus was a hero. And then a couple of years later, it's like, oh no, Christopher Columbus is a murderer and a genocidal rapist. And now the school of thought's coming back, and it's like, actually he was a little bit in between, because the men that he employed under him did engage in that, and Columbus did not stop them because he needed them to get back home. And he didn't want to be marooned and have a mutiny on his hands. So we are all victims of the looking glass of history, all of us. And
it's kind of one of those things where like people are like, well, you're guilty because you didn't do anything to stop it, and it's like it's not always.
Can you do
you're
anything
not always
to stop
in
it?
a position to be able to stop certain things, like.
Yeah, and we don't live in a world that's black and white, guys. As much as I want the world to not have anyone killed by cops, it's an impossibility right now. As much as I want there to be no death in the world, I mean, it's an impossibility because human beings are brash, irrational, and are scared animals. Like especially when they're around something that they don't understand. Because when they don't understand something, they fear it, and when they fear it, they learn to hate it. And then when you hate something, you think nothing of destroying it. That's the cycle of human thought, and how it goes and how it's gone throughout history. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, I want to move on to the next one. I want to see what's going to happen between Bakugo and Midoriya.
Fight.
All right, fight. Kiss. Oh, that's the story on Tumblr.
I don't think Deku's just going to agree to fight him. But.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he's going to have much of a choice.
We'll see.
This seems like a non-consensual relationship to me.
Wow. I could go in there. All right, well, we're going to move on, everybody. We will see you in the next one. So if you want to check it out, head on down over to our Patreon. Or if you want to subscribe to our channel whenever new episodes come out, you'll see them on there. And I guess until next time, signing off, I'm Nate.
Micah.
I'm Nick.
And we'll see you then. Peace out.
Yeah.